Hi, I'm Jason Gore for ThatShelf.com. We're here just to look at a bunch of records.
Big shelf.
So Vinyl Me Please is having its 10th birthday, 10th anniversary of being in operation. And in order to help celebrate that, they've given an opportunity for those of us that have been subscribers or are re-signing up for their one of their annual sections, the ability to choose a number of records from their list and deliver them for free. So I got this massive box of all the stuff I got. There were some issues with getting the code. It all worked out thanks to the support. I really miss when they had the phone support, I will say. I think that we pay enough for Vinyl Me Please. It'd be awesome if we had some sort of phone support. But that being said, once I finally got somebody, they're incredibly helpful. And it's great. So I want to show you, for those of you that may be signing up and may be thinking, what can I get for free? This sort of reminds me of the Columbia House thing. All you need to do is spend $500 a year, or whatever the hell it is. It's just a fortune in order to get the 12 records, and then you get 8 or so records, depending on how many months you're actually going through. So I ordered a bunch, including some that I just decided to add. But I want to show you, these are the ones that were still on the list when I ordered a couple weeks ago. So what did I pick up? I picked up a bunch of stuff that I had sort of wanted or thought I might want, or looked like they were sort of in my idiom, but not necessarily ones that I was going to actually rush it and go, excluding one of them. And this all sort of started, I didn't actually notice it was a thing that was part of the list when I held one of the records in my hand, and I realized, I wanted to get this, and then I realized, it could be on the list of those things that I'm actually signing up for. So there we are. Let's look at the first one. As we know that they now have a country and western line, the CW line, and there's very, very few records that I would actually sort of rush out and get on that country line, but there's a couple in here that sort of worked very well for me. And this is one, again, I have to thank 500 Songs, Andrew Hickey, for talking up some of the stuff in terms of the rock world, but also the Rhinestones and Cocaine and Rhinestones podcast that sort of is contextualizing so much of this music for me, particularly the world of Buck Owens. But really, let's just give the shout out to Andrew Hickey, who did an extraordinary job letting me connect Buck Owens. Obviously, I knew the connections to people like Ringo Starr and how much the Beatles really loved him, but just sort of understanding him in a much more deep and profound way has really improved so much my love of music. It's been one of the great gifts, 500 Songs. So I have to be evangelical about Andrew Hickey and his 500 Songs podcast, because it's truly opened my ears up in ways which has been extraordinary. Anyway, there we are, Buck Owens and his Buckaroos, starting off with Act Naturally, the song that I would have first learned. And what the hell, it's a Carnegie Hall concert, so this is probably going to be pretty damn good. This one's interesting. This is a record, Suicide Movement. This is one of those classic things that I get. It's one of those beautiful records that has been sampled, so everybody goes crazy because it's sampled and trying to buy it because it's sampled. I was actually in Brooklyn and walked in, and I have a first pressing of this, which is okay. It's a little bit rough, but I bought it, and I just was just there on the wall. I'm like, what the hell's that? Because when you see people dressed like that, I'm like, I need this. This one is the first vinyl issue ever. It's VMP exclusive. Oh, there we are. Features the hit I've Been Watching You Later, sampled by everybody from the Beastie Boys to Beck to Erykah Badu. Sure, but it's still a great record. I don't believe this is full analog. They would have mentioned that, but nonetheless, it is a numbered version. I have 267 of 1,000. And actually, I'm going to crack this open because this one might be a fancy color. The Buck Owens is a fancy color. I'm not going to bother opening that one. But this, I want to see. That doesn't usually mean much to me. Yeah, there we go. It is on this, what do we want to call this? First of all, it has a proper MoFi-like sleeve. What do we want to call this? The right sleeve. Yeah, there we are, on wand. Gold? Let's call that gold. Looks great. And I'm assuming this press is going to play a lot better than my first pressing. we'll see. I can actually compare the two. Silvertones. This was on the Essentials 67. So again, I don't subscribe to Essentials, but there's a couple things that come out. That's totally wild. The Crate Digger Classic and Reggae Circles of Trojan Records debut from Harmony Trio, the Silvertones, is a mix of doo-wop, dub, and sometimes spaghetti western soundtrack. I've heard some of this forever ago. I'm really, really looking forward to digging in this. That's going to be a lot of fun. Check this out. 140 gram opaque turquoise vinyl, limited 1,000. Ray Charles. I mean, just a truly iconic / awful cover, whichever way you want to go for it. A message from the people, by the people, for the people. Arrangements by this Quincy Jones guy, Sid Feller, and Mike Post. Mike Post of TV Themes, putting it all together. Yeah, so this is that sort of strange in-between period for Ray Charles. Really looking forward to digging into this, as I will just keep saying. I keep saying I'm really looking forward to this stuff. Another country one that I have never owned, Shotgun Willie. The beginning of the sort of outlaw country shtick in some ways. The Christopherson vibe, that sort of very particular era. I watched the Willie doc, 4.5 hours or whatever it was, and I thought that this is a record that I should probably have in my collection. I have stuff like Stardust. I have some of the later stuff, the sort of poppy things that he did, but I think that this one is going to give me a sort of insight into the artist in a way that I haven't had before. Elaine Brown, Until We're Free, exclusive blood red vinyl, limited of 500 on foil stamp. Again, know almost nothing about this record, but it just seemed that it was going to work for me. 232 of 500. You know, it's a Motown record that I know nothing about, and I'm digging into this. Dr. John, believe his last record, doing stuff like Rambling Man, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. Iconic, one of the great artists that I never had a chance to actually see live. I would have loved that, but my obsession with Treme in particular, again, leads me to sort of really adore the stuff that he did. Speaking of late career works, this is the, I believe, latest from Mavis Staples. Her produced by Ry Cooder on Anti, the same label that Tom Waits is on. This is again a VMP exclusive, number 431. On white blue split vinyl, so definitely going to check this out. And then I'll leave that one for last. We have this, Check Your Head by the Beastie Boys. I'm just now sort of opening my ears up to some of this stuff. Paul's Boutique was always something that immediately worked for me, but some of these other records, the sort of post stuff, I wasn't really getting into, but I'm giving them a shot. I'm sort of allowing myself to sort of experience them distanced from the sort of obnoxiousness. Again, saw Beastie Boys first. I've told this before, but I saw Beastie Boys first opening for Madonna, and they were just a particular sort of frat boyish thing that just did not work for me at all, which is why I never gave Paul's Boutique a chance at the time. Fight Your Right Party just was not my thing. And years later, I recognized its importance within the sort of framework of musical history. And from there, I'm sort of digging in. That's a little bit like what I'm doing with Radiohead decades after the fact, of just finding that stuff that I'm able to actually find and make my own in a way outside of the sort of bubble of fandom and what it's going. So yeah, full stamped. Nice record, looking forward to that. And then this one, I love this record. This was also in the Country Western, release number 13. I have the 5-1 mix of this, and it's extraordinary. But I think it's a beautifully recorded record. A lot of love is Joshua Judge's Ruth. Really amazing talent. But this one, again, the collision between gospel, country, Americana, all the stuff that's going on here, just absolutely. Like his version of Church, I get it. It's like straight up, you know, almost like a musical version of gospel, but the playing on it is so good. The choir is so good. It's all phenomenally sounding records. So out of all of them, this was the one that I held in my hand and almost bought for retail. I'm like, I'm going to buy this as part of my my free record thing. So there we go. A look at what you can get if you sign up for VMP. I recommend it. I get nothing. There's no affiliate nonsense here. I'm just an idiot that really loves music, and I love the fact that I'm getting on a monthly basis records I wouldn't normally buy for myself at all. This is very interesting, VMP actually being sort of cataloging of me going through and selecting, because I'm so used to once a month just getting a record in the mail. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't care because it's going to tell me a story. It's going to introduce me probably to something I haven't heard before, something I wouldn't necessarily pick up, but something that I'm really, really pleased to have a part of my collection. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, follow us on social media, and we will see you next video. All the best. Take care.